Hey there, I'm Ben.
Today we're reviewing the Creality CR Scan Otter. I bought this primarily because I'm working towards building a studio in Blender. To that end, I'd like some method of getting photorealistic high-quality scans of the products I review. While I've been modeling and 3D printing for a while, my animation skills are not great, so join me on that journey as I review tech, game, and learn to animate. But of course, we will begin this review as we do with every review, fit, finish, and physicality. I've been reviewing products for a while now, and I can honestly say that this scanner feels like it's made of very high-quality products. It's giving prosumer level, if that makes any sense. I do really wish that a scanner like this came with a turntable, especially given that the pistol grip is not included at this price point. I love that it comes with a high quality carrying case. I do hate, however, that you have to unscrew the power cable every single time you want to put it back in the case. Either they need to make the screw-in power cable with fewer threads, or they need to make the snap-on, snap-off arrangement, because as it stands, it takes forever to screw or unscrew the power cable. Plugging this device into my laptop is okay with the provided power adapter, but to be honest, it's a lot more tolerable with a more flexible dongle. With the included adapter, it sticks out so much and it's so rigid that I could honestly snap it off at a moment's notice. Tech support. So, in visiting Creality's website for software and documentation, I have to say that I'm kind of pissed off that their site will not in any way function while I'm using a VPN. God forbid that I have any kind of online privacy. A very heartfelt fuck you to Creality for this. Also, the form to fill out, the serial number, order number, proof of purchase, videos of the problem. Starting to believe that Creality might be a government agency. I submitted my request around 2100 hours on April 16th. They got back to me on April 20th. I would say that the response was very timely in manner, however, the answers that were given were quite general and failed to address my situation specifically, especially given that I was quite clear about not owning a grip attachment for the scanner, and it would seem that they just kind of assumed that I did anyway. Software. This software is actually fairly decent. That is worth acknowledging outright. I have, however, used a lot of different kinds of editing software over the years, and this is the first one where older projects effectively just disappear from the homepage if they're too old. I'm relieved to find that they are easily found within the program's save directory, but this extra step is kind of annoying. This device has an iPhone app, and thankfully my iPhone is USB-C, but unfortunately it would seem that Creality hasn't caught up to this change because you can't just plug the scanner directly into the phone. And I just want to go off script and say here, this would make this device like 10 or 15 times more valuable. Being able to scan on a mobile device is huge. It is a massive, massive added value, and it would make this device maybe worth the price. All that to say that if you want to connect to the app, you have to buy the grip attachment. Bummer, given that a wired connection would be a really fantastic failsafe, especially for mobile scanning. For smaller objects, I have to say that I'm fairly impressed with the versatility of this scanner. I scanned this muscular torso and I was impressed by the level of detail and accuracy. Specifically, the way that once you've scanned a little bit of the figurine, you can then just twist the figurine a little bit more and the software will figure out the alignment and appropriately add the next part of the scan. Again, this is where a turntable and a stand for the scanner would be immensely useful for small to mid-size scans. I did not test this feature extensively, but I would say it's also a little bit difficult to merge versions of the same scan. Given how important this can be for getting a scan just right, I think it's something that is well worth Creality's time in programming. Okay, so my next complaint requires a little bit of background. There are two scanning modes, with global markers and without them. With global markers means you cover your object in stickers, which makes it really easy for the scanner to see and trace the object. This is time-consuming and boring to do. Doing it without means that the software makes its best guess as to the shape of the object and then tries to track that shape in 3D space, as mentioned above. What's frustrating is that while it has both of these capabilities, it doesn't appear to use them both when it's in marker mode. And that's honestly the difference between this product working just okay and it working amazingly. The problem is essentially that at times it's difficult and time-consuming to get the sticker distribution so that there's always at least 5 stickers in the frame. Additionally, sometimes the shape of the device makes it almost impossible to do this at all without completely obscuring the surface of the device with stickers. All that to say that if the device ran both processes at the same time, it would not only have a much better tracking overall, but it would also bridge the gaps between where it can and can't lean on the markers for tracking. To go off script again, I would say that this might be kind of taxing for some computers, but if we're talking about the 3D modeling and enthusiast market, there is a strong possibility that the person who can afford a $1,300 scanner can also afford a computer that can handle that kind of scanning power. Given how long this tech has existed, it's kind of outrageous to me that Creality hasn't found a way to deploy a hybrid scanning model. Something I do love about the software is how easy they make it to cut out the noise that you get with the scan. Of course, even better would be an attempt to automate the noise cleanup or even just make sure that we don't get noise at all, but for now, it's actually a really great addition to the software. And now, the big caveat. I think I understand why it's behaving this way, but I really hate that this device cannot scan a simple box. It's counterintuitive, but a symmetrical box is incredibly hard for this device to grasp. Even my projector, which is asymmetrical and has a bunch of unique grooves, dents, and features, was impossible to scan without taking what felt like ages to apply a million tiny little markers. And that's kind of the thing with this scanner. It's actually quite good for figurines, but it seems that for medium-sized objects or anything with less texture and more symmetry, it's kind of a nightmare to use. Also, putting markers on, as I mentioned, is very time-consuming, and even with the recommended amount, it's still somewhat finicky. Also, let's talk about the photorealism and texturing that it does. Keeping in mind that I did not test this as extensively as I would have liked to, I would say that the texture mapping for small figurines worked relatively well. I did not notice any major flaws, and I would also say that from a photographer's perspective, color and photographic texture came out looking very consistent with the original product. I was actually going to go into more depth on this, but the scan that I took specifically for this seems to have disappeared, even though I have no recollection of deleting it. Again, I do really wish that the software didn't only feature recent products. That said, I cannot even find it in the save directory for this product. There's a good chance that I just pushed the wrong button, but assuming that I did, it does again call into question how foolproof the software actually is. Next, ethics and environment. As you may be aware, 3D printing is a huge source of microplastics. Therefore, a company that makes printers and sells filament like this could have a huge impact on shifting its users to filaments that are biodegradable. Shit, they could even be working to make the biodegradable filaments that exist even better. Unfortunately, Creality appears to be making zero effort to do any of this. In a vaguely ironic turn of events, trying to view Creality's corporate social responsibility report leads to a completely blank page. But don't worry, according to their blog, they held a World Environmental Day on June of 2022. The only other ecosystem I could find mentioned in their website is their ecosystem of scanners and laser engravers, which they seem pretty proud of, but it's kind of unfortunate that they evidently take no pride at all in the ecosystem that created them, and which sustains the operations of every corporation on Earth. When our children look back on us, companies like Creality will be seen as the people who stood greedily by, clutching their wallets while the world burns. It would also seem very much that Creality is paying slave wages. I believe this to be the case because of a Chinese job listing which Creality put out for an electrical engineer. The listing was posted this year, and this states that the salary is between 8 and 9K a month. And before the Americans come running, I'm not talking about American dollars, you buffoons. Cost of living, projected by more than one website, is notably higher than what Creality is offering. A salary like this barely covers the cost of rent and groceries. No saving for emergencies, no travel, no investments. These are slave wages. Links to my sources in the description, which is below the subscribe button for the record. Now you might be wondering, Ben, why should I care? Because a company that's willing to cut corners on their most valuable asset, people, will absolutely cut corners everywhere else. And I know, yes, Creality has a decent reputation from a hardware standpoint, but seeing this kind of behavior seriously makes me wonder about their behavior behind closed doors. Also, slave wages cause homelessness and debt, as well as just generally starving local marketplaces. Summary. This video in a nutshell, well, the device is pretty great if you want to scan figurines. That said, it's really not great for much else. The company also gets an abject fail on ethics and environment. The thing that really strikes me is that while other methods can be finicky, I have managed to capture very detailed scans of my face using just my iPhone. The trade-off here being that 3D scanning software you get from an iPhone is almost always a subscription model, and of course, we are sick to the teeth of that. I'd like to do a video that examines this in more detail, so subscribe or comment if you'd like to see it, because frankly, the algorithm has not been my friend lately. Also, sometimes I miss things or I just can't fit them into the review, so do let me know in the comments if there's something you'd like to know about this device that I didn't cover. Ultimately, it feels like we're in a place where there are a lot of different 3D scanning methods jostling for attention. Unfortunately, it also seems that we have yet to find the kind of holy grail when it comes to general purpose high quality scanners that cost less than, say, $7,000. Obviously, whether or not you buy this is down to your needs, and how much time you're willing to spend covering a projector and stickers. As always, thanks for watching to the end of the video. I'm Ben, this is BRBTG, and as always, I'll be right back.